So, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Love. Today, we have the amazingly beautiful and talented Andrea. What's your last name?
Adams.
Adams. And I knew that, but just draw a blank. So, for the listeners, tell us a little bit about who you are and what's important to you, or whatever you want to share.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's indeed an honor, and it's actually a privilege to be in your presence. And just to share a little bit about me, as you mentioned, I am Andrea Adams. I currently reside in Florida. However, I am from the Caribbean. I was born in Guyana. I was raised in Barbados. And just to give you a little background about me, I really absolutely love the islands. However, as a child, I did have a lot of memories that were not always so great because my parents went through divorce and I was sent to live with family members, etc. So those things actually impacted my life and where I am right now. And what I will do before I go into all of those details, I would just share what I'm doing now. For me, the bright side of everything, all my experiences has brought me to here where I am right now. Currently preparing for a beautiful conference. And one of the highlights, I would say, for my life, if not it is the highlight, is just being able to work with kids because that's where my passion and my energy and everything goes into the most.
Hmm.
Mm.
You talked about childhood and how all the memories weren't pleasant. One of the things I always believe is that we start to get our set our viewpoints and what we believe about life as a child. Having said that, what would you say you took from your early childhood? Like, what were your thoughts on the world in relations to love?
Okay, as it relates to love, I would say that I would have developed some form of an abandonment issue because my parents, they divorced. Not only did they divorce, my mom, when I was about 11, she left and she went to Canada. She never came back. My dad, he left us and he went with his new wife. So, and I never lived with him again ever. So, for me, as it relates to love right now, I consider it my core because my social media name is Adorna Me, and Adorna Me comes from a foundation of love. Simply because I had to go on a journey of self-love to understand what is it like to love me first, to adorn me first. So before I got there, my view of love was always expecting that at some point or the other, there would be some form of abandonment in love.
We've talked a lot, and I just put together the correlation that that was something that I dealt with also, where my connection to love was sooner or later people will always leave. So it's interesting because I never knew that that was something that you really had to deal with. Were you an only child?
No, I have with my mother and my dad married, they had three kids together. My dad had two other kids with his second wife, and he had another child with a someone else. I have like two sisters and four brothers, if I correctly remember it.
Were you,
But beautiful beings, I love them all.
you guys were close growing up?
We were pretty, especially me and my brother that was born just a few, we were maybe about 2 years apart. We've been pretty close the most. And my sister, my first sister from my dad's new marriage, we're very, very close. The rest of us, we keep really close contact, but not as much as the other two.
Okay.
Everybody's busy living their lives. And unfortunately, everyone lives in different countries.
What are some of the most memorable memories that you have from growing up? Good and bad.
Okay, I can say good. I can remember my aunt that I practically call her my mom because of my mom's schedule. I spent most of my time with her. But I can remember she used to take us to church and she would take us to buy ice cream. I remember spending a lot of time with her. And I would say one of my memories that I find that is not so pleasant would just be having to deal with bullying in school. That was not a good memory.
You were bullied?
I was.
Hmm.
Seems hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? Why I was bullied? It's just because I was born in Guyana, as I mentioned earlier, and my parents, they migrated to Barbados. Back in the days, Guyanese had a stigma. Barbadians always did not welcome them because they were coming in a lot to the country and working, taking away their jobs, sometimes overstaying, just a lot like what's happening here in the US now. So Barbadians did not welcome Guyanese very much. So going to school, being around kids, and they may be hearing what their parents spoke about, they would torment me, make up songs, and do all sorts of stuff just because I was Guyanese.
Mhm. Yeah, kids can do some of the craziest things.
They do, but influenced by adults mostly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you were bullied as a child, you came from a divorced household, you had abandonment issues. Was there ever a time where you had a negative viewpoint on people or you didn't want to be bothered by people?
It's a really interesting question. And the truth is, I always have been that person who sees the best in other people. My very close friend would say, Andrea, someone would just take away every last thing that you had, and you'd be like, maybe they needed it. Maybe there's a good reason. There have to be a reason. That's not like that.
Hmm.
So I always had that temperament where I always see the best in people. And I always love people. I always somehow or the other look for the good in people. So I don't know if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, but I still always appreciated people.
And you know, that's crazy because I've always been the same way. And I was talking to somebody last week trying to figure out where that comes from. Like where does it come from where you can go through the most terrible situations and have all the reasons in the world to not believe in love that you always, it's in your core that you do.
Maybe a psychological reason for it, honestly, and it may come maybe stemming from just wanting to feel love, wanting to be loved, and hoping that someday you would find that reciprocation where it's like just genuine and there's no other means behind it. So it likely if we study it, maybe we'll find that there is some kind of a psychological background to it and a meaning.
But I think you may be right. I think that when you have such a need for love, you always lead with love, thinking that that's going to lead the way to finding love.
Oh,
Or you have a need to give to other people what it is that you wish you had the most.
you just said it. You just said it. That's exactly it. You give what you expect.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
yeah.
That's it.
Was there ever so there you can't remember a time at all where you kind of felt like that your love was being drowned out by all of the negative things that were occurring?
I do. And it would be more in the recent years of my life when, with my marriage and trying to just deal with PTSD that would have been formed from infidelity. And I think that kind of shifted me in the way that I think as it relates to love. And as I am now, I still live a life where I give love, but I am now more prudent and more sheltered. Meaning, like I mentioned, my friend would say, Andrew, you give everybody a chance. I don't do that anymore. It would have been before, hey, innocent until proven guilty. But for me now, it's like I guard myself, I guard my heart, and I have to see you proving who you say you are. I don't take just your word for it anymore because I now understand that actions actually tell what a person really think and who they really are. So I don't listen to just words, but I go by the way that they behave, their actions.
Hmm. Let me
Mhm.
ask you this though. If you came across a stranger who needed something, what would you do?
I would give them my last. That's just me. If I
So,
believe that they needed it and if I know that it would benefit them, I would still give them.
so would you say that you still give love freely, but you protect your heart more?
That's it. It's more from a heart aspect. I look to see how people treat me, which and I never would have done that before. It's just for me, gave. But now I look to see how people treat me. And I no longer make excuses for people treating me ill. Before I would make excuses. Oh, maybe it's this reason why. Maybe it's that reason why. I don't any, I no longer do that. If I see, I believe whatever I see, that is what it is. Show me who you are and I'll believe you. It's that now.
Okay. And I want to come back to this, but I want to back up. You had mentioned something about self-discovery or self-love, or I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, but tell me a little bit about that. Like how you got to that point where you realized that you had to invest in yourself.
I just love to speak about that part of my life. And I always say it was never a moment. I know a lot of people have the aha moment. I've never had an aha moment. I would have had an aha season, an aha journey. And a lot of it came from me spiraling down to a place of depression. And it came from being in a marriage where my husband was continuously having other relationships with other people, and I would forgive, and it would same thing would happen. Now that caused me to lose my own self-worth because I've reached to a point where I was depressed, where I no longer wanted to be around, etc. So I went through that journey. I went through that journey, that lonely place of being by myself, not understanding what's happening with me, wanting to be there for my kids, and also having other situations that caused me to just have to remain in that situation. And as I said, it wasn't a moment. It first started, I can remember with Dr. Sonia Noel. I was invited by a friend to be her accountability partner on a program. It was a self-development program, 7 days healthy thoughts challenge. Now, for me, all my life, and that would could have been maybe about around 2020. That's really not that long ago. All my life, I understood academic development. That was considered something measurable. Never had anyone told me in any real words there was something beyond academic development, personal development, which meant looking within. So for me, I was like, oh, I think positively. I don't cuss people out in my mind, and I have pretty healthy thoughts. I go to church. I was very active in church still at that time. I go to church and I serve and I do all sorts of stuff. So I have good thoughts. However, I showed up, and by the end of that 7 days, I understood absolutely that I didn't think well of myself. And it was from there that my whole life turned and shifted. It didn't happen just at once. It happened with me continuously developing myself, being able to work with people like you when I was in the program with John, and being able to be under your mentorship when we used to read and learning about the power of the subconscious mind, and working with John, working with Les, working with coaches. It really shifted me to understand. First of all, I was so taken aback when I figured out that my thoughts were not good. Me thinking I'm not good enough for this, not good enough for that was really negative thinking. And a lot of things that I thought throughout the years were negative thoughts. I did not know that. I thought negative thoughts as if I thought dirty word, dirty word. No. So it was a journey, and that journey has really shifted my life so much that I do not recognize myself. And a lot of people who expected a certain version of me, now when they speak with me, they realize that I'm not the same person. Like this morning, my uncle called because he looked at an interview. I was on a podcast a few weeks ago, and he's like, "Oh my God, my niece. I have no idea, but I don't know if you recognize the powerful woman you are. And if nobody ever told you, I'm telling you now." Wow. Wow. I was so taken aback by the things that you say. So I told him, I said, "Uncle, sometimes even I myself don't understand my worth. I don't understand my value all the time. It's something that I continuously work on. But I understand that my life has shifted, my thinking has shifted, and I understand that I'm still on a journey of growth." So,
Yeah, and it's amazing when you start that journey. It's like you have no idea really what you're getting into or exactly what to do next. But one thing opens you up a little bit, then it leads you to something else. It opens up you a little bit more. It leads you to something else, and it's like as you get to a new mindset, something appears to take you to the next level.
so
The
true.
the reason that I wanted to ask you about that was because we were talking about the way you deal with people and protecting your heart now. One of the things that I struggled with most of my life, because I was the exact same way. I would give and I would give and I would give, and I would allow people to step on me, and I would continually give, and I would allow people to take advantage of me, knowing that they took advantage of me, and I would still continue to give because I wanted to give the same thing that I expected to get back, but I didn't know how to set boundaries because I didn't recognize my value. And so what I hear you saying now is if there's a stranger, you'll give to them. So you're still that loving individual. You just set boundaries for people
I
because
do.
because there's a certain way that you need to be handled, right? Because you understand your value now, and you won't accept the same things that you did before because you are precious.
Oh, yeah. Said it right.
And
Just that. It's really a shift in the mindset. It really is. And I, I'm actually not afraid to cut people off anymore. Like there are people that would have done certain things before I would have said, okay, pass it over, gloss it. I don't even give them the opportunity. As I say, show me who you are. Just show me once. And once I see who you are, I know snakes do not change. So they may change their skin, but they're the same inside. So for me, I understand that once I see people operate in a certain way, and I've learned how to evaluate people. And I'm that person in the room. I'm not the one who would talk the most. I'm not the one who would talk the most. I would be so quiet, you would think maybe I'm stupid.
yeah,
I stay so quiet, but I evaluate a lot. And I've reached to the point in my life that I'm able to look at people and I know what they're going to do before they do it. I don't even know how to say it, which other way to say it, but I know what they're going to do. I know how they're going to handle situations because I've actually mastered that part of really evaluating people, the way they operate. I could be in a room and I can see all the different type of personalities, and I just sit down and I smile to myself. The know-it-alls, the who want to be a leader, who I just observe and I smirk and I let people be because I believe everyone should be who they are.
yeah, and it is a gift, and I have the exact same gift. I can watch people and know what's coming next, and but it's mainly because I've studied people so much.
Oh, yes.
No, and also I think and I believe that you're an empath also. As empaths, we have a certain connection with our intuition, and we can just feel stuff, which is a blessing.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
So we go from a young lady who experiences or who develops this idea of the world that with love comes abandonment. we move from that to a young lady who, because she wants to experience love so badly, she freely gives love to everyone. And whether she realizes that they deserve it or not, she continually gives love. Then we move to a young lady who goes through a period of time where she goes into a depression and realizes that she's giving love to everybody else, but she's failed to invest and give love back to herself. That person moves into an individual who starts to invest in self-development, understand how she is, and she moves from a grown woman to a queen who understands her values, learns how to set boundaries, but still is open to expressing love to those who need it the most.
Oh, yes, well said.
And that's a wonderful journey. And I truly believe that it's a journey that all of us need to take. Because I truly believe at our core, all of us, every single one of us, is nothing but pure love. And our interpretation and our perception of the world generally starts at a young age, and we act accordingly to what we've gone through, and we close down and we go into some form of survival mode. And that survival mode can look a lot of different ways. Some people turn what they believe as a kid into hate. You know, we begin to hate certain people because of something that happened to us. Men begin to hate women, women begin to hate men. Some people just begin to hate everybody, or they close down and they don't deal with anybody. But I think the beauty of going through that journey is that you realize that you're really in control, and there's no need to act in a survival mode because you are the creator of your destiny.
Oh, yes. That makes me think of the book that I'm trying to finalize that book, and it's talking about the different levels of consciousness. And we do move through because most people operate from a level of victim consciousness. And when I really reflect on my life, I've spent most of my life as a victim of life happening to me. It's like, poor me, this plastic bag in the wind being hit by everything, and I had absolutely no control of it, or so I thought. But the good thing is that when we become aware, we have some amount of consciousness and we understand that we are just creators, then we start to shape our destiny. And that's exactly what I saw or heard in what you just said. So I'm absolutely loving that.
Yeah. So this, one of the things I've learned to believe over life, because again, I grew up, and most of my childhood and a lot of my adulthood was spent being a victim, and these things happened to me, and I act accordingly because of these things that happened. But I realized that nowadays I don't think about how things happen to me, but I'm aware of myself as a creator to know that everything is happening for me, you
Oh,
know,
yes.
which eliminates the whole victim mentality. And I think when you're a victim, when you believe that you have no control and everybody else has control, you can't help but be a victim because you have no control.
No control.
The moment you take control, then you can no longer be a victim,
Exactly.
you know?
No longer giving your power away.
Yeah. And it's all about perception. One of the things Wayne Dyer says that I really like is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
So true. So true.
So this Queen Andrea, what's going on in her life today? What is she creating?
Okay, I am forever creating to a point that sometimes I have to say I'm going to create me some sleep. I've actually created some amount of balance when it comes to sleep, making sure that I get a good set of sleep at night. But while I'm up, what I'm creating, of course, Global Kids Speak. And I thank you so much for just taking your time year after year to help me to walk along the journey with these wonderful kids from across the globe. Global Kids Speak, we've been teaching the kids the skills of public speaking, which is something that is needed. Public speaking, you might not want to necessarily go on stage and speak, but we're called to speak, whether we're at a wedding or sometimes you're the first day in the classroom, you may be asked some information of yourself. You may go on an interview. There's so many ways that we're called to communicate. So being able to teach these young people that skill and not only teach them the skill of communicating to others, but through some measure of coaching, we're able to teach them to communicate that message to themselves, to become confident in who they are. So that's what I have been creating along with you. Thank you.
And I know you got some other things you're doing. You're always doing something.
Oh, yes, I'm working on the book, Four Levels of Consciousness, Living Your Full Potential. I am also preparing for a conference next week. This is in Miami. And again, thank you again for always extending yourself because you are the host of that program. And I'm looking forward to hearing your message. We have the conference that's coming up, Global Kids Speak. Oh, the kids also will be having a conference in December where they'll all be speaking about the power of positive thinking again, reaffirming the importance of keeping those thoughts positive. I understood how that shifted my life, how it shifted my journey, and I'm ensuring that the youths they have the opportunity to really and truly dig into what it means to think positively. And
Hmm.
those are some of the things I can think of off the rim.
So the book that you're going through, is that a book study? Or you're just
No, it's a book that I'm writing.
are you writing?
I finished it and I sent it out to a few people to get feedback. I got some feedback. I was planning to have it launched for the conference, but there's some things I want to change based on the feedback, so it's going to be a little bit longer.
Okay. Okay. Everybody, I think most people are always concerned with, or should be concerned with, the legacy that they leave behind. The legacy that you leave behind in relations to love, what would you like that to be?
No, first of all, I just believe that whenever people see me, they must think love. Hence the social media name Adorn Me. And I believe that the legacy that I am called to leave is to help people to understand not just love of others. I think the primary love is the love of self. And I've met some criticism online. Oh, self-love is not of God, blah, blah, blah. But I don't even bother with that because I always go back. I say, well, why would the Bible say love your neighbor as you love yourself? It means that you have to learn to love yourself first before you can love someone else. How could we genuinely say we love someone else when we don't even understand what is it like to love yourself? So the name Adorn Me did not just come by chance. It came with a lot of thought and reflection and meditation and prayer and everything. And it's an Italian word that means adorn me. And every time you say adorn me, the thing I love about it the most is like when people call me adorn me, they're literally saying an affirmation for themselves. It literally means I adorn me. So you're thinking you're calling me, but you're giving yourself an affirmation. You're saying, I adorn me, I adorn me, I adorn me. And that is the legacy that I want to leave. Like I want people to really and truly be passionate about the conversation that they have with themselves, with who they are, understand themselves, get up every day and treat themselves like somebody they love, adorn themselves. And adorn does not only mean physical, it could mean taking a course, it could mean going to the spa and taking care of yourself. Adorning yourself is sleeping when you need to rest because your body needs healing. Adorning yourself is loving yourself in every way, however you are, every body part, however you are. Seeing the beauty and the uniqueness in you, adorning you. And that's the legacy I want to leave. I want people to understand, and that is both the kids and the adults to understand how important it is to love yourself. The minute you reach to that stage that you can just love yourself, it's the most selfless thing you can do, because you then can unleash love to everybody you come in contact with, because you understand that you're perfect just as you are, however you are. Doesn't matter what color you are, your height, it doesn't matter anything. You are absolutely beautiful as you are, and unique.
I felt every word of that you said. I felt the passion behind it. If there's, well, let me ask you this. So there's a lot of tension in the world today. I think we've gotten to a point where we don't, people don't talk to each other like they used to. You know, when I was growing up, we had basically three stations of news. There was three stations, and everybody got the same information as everybody else got. And even though we disagreed with each other, we always were, there was always communication and people willing to see other people's sides. And I think that we've gotten to a point in the world where there's so many news channels and there's so many streams of information that it's gotten to the point where whatever you believe, you can find and surround yourself with people who believe the exact same thing. And I think that that kind of has divided us to the point where we don't try to see each other's opinion. I think it can appear today that there's so much division and so much hate and such a lack of love. And so my question to you is do you believe that hate is winning, or does hate just make more noise?
I think that hate makes more noise and hate is not winning. I think, however, uh, it goes back again to self-love. We really have to push that narrative. The minute everyone could actually really love yourself, you wouldn't want to hurt other people. You want the best for others too. And also, on my observation, and I believe besides the legacy of learning how to adorn yourself that I want to leave, I'm also out there telling everyone the only religion there is, only one true religion there is, and that religion is love. Only one race they have, and that race is humanity. And I tell people that don't come to me to tell me about Buddhism, Christianity, and even in my work where I'm on social media, because I do meditations and I have people come in my room in the mornings. And then a lot of people who are practicing spirituality, they tend to come to my room because of how I speak. And I've said it, not being rude, but I said it so that it's known. I'm not practicing spirituality either. So I might not be practicing whatever religion that they think that Christianity or Buddhism or whatever. I'm still not practicing spirituality. Practicing love. And I tell them that. I say, because the getting back to your question and why I tend to go around to get points off sometimes, the division, the discord is all based on race, politics, and religion. All of it is based on that. One of those three: race, politics, religion, race, politics, religion, race, politics, religion. Everybody wants power. That's where politics comes. Religion, everybody thinks that they're right and they're serving the right God. So just not, why not just let it be love? Why we can't just love each other and work out? And race, there's no race. Humanity, we all go through the same thing. We may have different shades, but it's the same thing. So I tell them, I was like, no, I'm not practicing spirituality. And with that, I'm also not giving my power away. And I hope I don't offend anybody, but I still say, because it's just my belief and I hope people respect it. You're not going to get me looking at a stone and saying, well, I need a stone for protection, because no. If I take a bat and I fling it into the wall, it will dent. That's my power. That's my energy. I have power, I have energy, I am a being created in highness, so I have that power. And if I believe that a stone can protect me, then if I don't have that stone, then I'm basically giving my power away. And I don't like to do that. I am powerful. I can do anything that my mind conceives to do. And I refuse to give my power away to any other thing. I'm not going to give my power away to a cross, to sage, to nothing. I am powerful as I am. So all that division and all that thing, then it's just noise. Love always wins. Love always conquers. I believe that there are more people who want and who are seeking love than those who are seeking discord and disunity.
I'd absolutely have to agree with you. One thing I'd like to add to all that is that politics, religion, and all that stuff is fear. It's all formed out of fear. And there's only, I believe, two real energies in the world, and that's love and fear. And the only thing that can conquer fear is love.
Mhm.
You had mentioned something about that somebody had said to you, it's not godly to have self-love. And if you really think about it, if we're versions of God, then how can we love God if we don't love ourselves? How
Exactly.
can we love God if we can't love our neighbors? Because we're all human. We share 99.9% of the exact same DNA. It's only that 0.1% that separates us in color and a lot of other things. But we're all come from the same source, and that's God. And religious people talk about God being agape love. So at our core, we are nothing but love.
Exactly. Oh,
You
yeah,
you said love always wins, and I absolutely believe you. And I absolutely believe that you believe that.
I do.
And I think that one of the biggest things that will erase all of the fear and will allow us to have better conversations and better respect for each other is when we accept that we are all love. Some of us haven't done the self-development. Some of us live in a place of fear. Some of us live in a victim mentality. But whatever is going on, at their core, they are loved.
Oh, yeah.
And my ultimate hope, and I'm pretty sure from our discussion that it's the same with you, that by me expressing love to someone may be that thing that gets them to let go of that fear or
Oh,
gets
yeah.
to see that they're worthy. And as you talked about, there was no defining moment for you to do the self-discovery. It was one thing that led into another. And I believe if I can help somebody to have a good day, or if I can give some energy or some time to somebody, that might be that one point. That might be their starting point to understand that somebody sees value in them, to allow
Oh,
them
yes.
that's to the point where they can see value within themselves.
Very true.
I admire you to death. I watch you. And one of the reasons that I wanted you to be the first person that I interviewed is because the legacy that you are leaving, the legacy that you're creating every single day is one of love. I watch you give and give and give. And even in spite of
Mm.
all the things that has occurred in life that could have possibly created a mindset of hate, you came through and you still believe strongly in love. And I think that that's a place that all of us need to get to.
Thank you.
I commend you and I respect you. If there was one last thing that you could give to people, what would that be?
One last thing I can give to people.
Like a final thought in relations to love that you would want everybody to think or understand or
Okay. One of my mantras is to always leave every single person I come in contact with a sense of increase. And I believe a sense of increase could be a smile, it could be a compliment, it could be monetary, it could be any form. But just leaving everyone with a sense of increase, it's a beautiful thing. And I encourage other people to do it, pay it forward. Don't always expect to get, don't always have to be the person that's receiving. Give freely. So that would be a word I would leave.
Yeah. I really want to thank you for your time today, for being my first interview. And I look forward to continually growing with you in the future.
And thank you for having me.